Welcome back, guys. I'm Evie, owner and creative director of Evielutions Design, where I help businesses with all of their branding needs. Today's video is basically part of the So You Want to Start a Business series, and it's aimed at helping the complete novice start their own business. This week's video focuses on personal questions to answer before you actually start your business. Now, last week, I walked you guys through my story of how I got started, some of my weaknesses, etc. And this week, we are going to take a closer look at personal questions you should ask yourself on this journey towards entrepreneurship. So as usual, let's jump right into it. So the first question you should ask yourself is, why do you want to start a business? I mean, that's really important. So if you Google, why do you want to start a business, you will see like page after page of search results, all giving you different reasons to start your own business. Now, understandably so, this question can be a bit overwhelming, especially for people who know they have a good idea, but don't know if they are best suited to execute that idea. And so it can be helpful to break this question down into more bite-sized questions. And so you want to ask, do you want to start this business to make money? And if the answer is yes, how long will you stick with your business idea if it is initially unprofitable? Those are things you really have to think about, because most of the time when you get started, you're not really making any money. And you want to think about when your business has been profitable for some time, but becomes unprofitable for a month. What do you do in those situations? Those are all things that you need to really take into consideration. The next thing you want to ask yourself is, do you want to start this business because you hate your job or your boss? If the answer is yes, what about starting your own business actually resolves this issue better than, for example, working for a different company? Maybe switching careers or going to a different company may resolve that versus you starting your own business. So just ponder on that one. The next thing is, do you want to start this business because you're passionate about the idea? If yes, do you think you can still be passionate about this idea even after experiencing failure, which sometimes happens repeatedly? Keep in mind that this is a bumpy road, and I'm not saying that to discourage anyone. I just want to give you guys the reality of entrepreneurship. Next is, what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses? So articulating your strengths and weaknesses is especially important if you want to start a business in partnership with someone else. So knowing what each of your strengths are, that can really help you delegate certain tasks and responsibilities to whoever is best suited to tackle them. So similarly, knowing what each of your weaknesses are can help identify potential issues and develop solutions that mitigate those problems. So for individual business owners, identifying those is really important too. So if, for example, I know that I can be forgetful. I know I need to implement safeguards in place that suit the type of business I am starting. And so that, was really important for me. And this can look like a marketing or social media calendar, writing out a daily task list and schedule like I do here. I love this little weekly to-do list. I think I got this from Walmart, but it has the days of the weeks, and I simply write down what I need to really accomplish for that day. You can also set multiple reminders on your phone to make sure that you meet those deadlines. So it can also help anticipate costs. So for example, if one of my weaknesses is photography, then I may want to consider the cost of taking classes for professional photography or otherwise outsourcing that work to a freelancer or other business. The next thing you want to ask yourself is, what unique perspective or quality do you bring to this industry? Now, this question is important for several reasons. First, it requires you to know your competitors and not just competing products. Those are two different things. Part of the product or service you are selling involves telling your story. So your story becomes part of your branding, which informs what and how you market your product or service. So perhaps your cultural background informs you how you provide a service to a client. Next, what are your goals with respect to this business? So goals are important for any endeavor, not only because it provides you with a target to strive for, from which you can build a roadmap and a strategy, but because it also provides you with a set point at which you can reevaluate your position and set new goals. So for example, if you're starting a business, set manageable, realistic short-term and long-term goals. So a short-term goal might look like 10 sales in the next 3 months. And a long-term goal might look like 50 sales in the next 12 months, at least 5 of which are repeat sales. With quantitative goals like these, you have several benchmarks at which you can reevaluate and adapt your strategy. That's what all business is all about. You can't just stay stagnant. You have to evaluate and adapt. So what if it takes 6 months to hit your goal of 10 sales? How should your strategy change if you have made 50 sales in 9 months, but none of them were repeat sales? These are questions you have to ask yourselves, because goals can be qualitative as well, but they should ideally be attached to a timeline to keep yourself accountable. So maybe your goal is to bring your business to different social media platforms. And you want to ask yourself, how does that timeline change if you set your deadline at 1 month versus 3 months? If your business mission statement involves customer satisfaction, is that an excellent goal? Are you going to be assessing whether customers are satisfied after each individual transaction? Or will you be making assessments at the end of each month? What does customer satisfaction actually mean to you? You really have to break all this stuff down. What does it mean to you for this business to be successful? And so this question goes hand in hand with the question, I just previously said. So if you find yourself struggling at setting goals for the business, think about what it means for the business to be successful and then work backwards from there. Similarly, if you have a number of goals that you just aren't sure how to define success for, use those goals as a jumping off point to consider success in broader terms. And so people, they define success differently. It can be estimated in qualitative terms, whether your business is considered a staple of the community, or in quantitative terms. And that's more related to like the number of sales per month or the total annual profit exceeding a certain number. But without defining success, you may find yourself constantly chasing like the next big thing. And that is the worst thing to do. I mean, your business alone will never be fulfilling enough. So by setting some measure of what it means for your business to be successful, you will not only have more clarity when it comes to creating a strategy for your business, but you will alleviate a lot of stress when it comes to running your business. Another thing you want to ask yourself is, what resources do you have to start your business? So think about what things you have on hand that will be helpful with starting your business. And this question is deeply underutilized by dreamers and entrepreneurs. Many online guides and articles will ask you to think about all the things you don't have. You don't have capital. You don't have an audience yet. You don't have everything on your list, right? So instead of framing starting your business with what you don't have, think about what you do have. You don't have significant capital, but you do have $100 in a separate savings account for your business. You don't have an audience, but you are well connected to other small businesses in your community. and you have a supportive network of friends and family. You don't have a professional photographer, that's okay, but you do have a niece or nephew who has been interested in building their portfolio, or just, I mean, they're just maybe awesome at taking pictures with their phones. That's just their thing. So make sure to utilize what you do have, and don't focus so much on getting all of these new gadgets and different things before you actually really get started. So while it is important to be realistic about the difficulties of starting a business, it is simultaneously important to remind yourself of all the different things you have going on for when it comes to starting your business. Okay. So last but not least, what is your hard limit? When you are assessing your hard limit, really consider what you would be willing to sacrifice for your business. Where are you going to draw the line? So if you value work-life balance, will you draw the line at the point where your business interferes with your hobbies and interests? If you value your relationships, do you draw the line at the point where your business creates significant stress on those relationships with your partner or your family? Also think about financially. So setting boundaries in life is really important. Setting boundaries with yourself and your future business is no exception. So when you do this, it also can relieve some of the stress or anxiety of just starting a business. And if small business venture is crossing the line, it makes it easier to hang up the towel before things get out of hand and you jeopardize the things in life that are most important to you. Okay, so if you still find yourself struggling to answer some of these questions, feel free to comment below and I'll help however I can. I'm here to help you every step of the way. So tune in next week where we will dive deeper into questions about what it is you are really selling. Like, we're going to dive into, the questions you need to ask yourself about whatever product or service you're selling. Okay. So see you guys next week. And as usual, have an awesome week.